Imagine you're holding two very simple tools in your hands.
Okay. Two tools.
Yeah. So in your left hand, you have a camera. And in your right hand, you have a compass.
Right.
The camera takes a picture of where you've already been, and the compass gives you an arrow showing exactly where you need to go next.
I like that.
And that exact difference, holding a camera versus holding a compass, is kind of the secret to unlocking one of the most frustrating puzzles in the English language. So, welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is figuring out why adding in to a verb versus adding to in front of it changes the entire reality of a sentence.
It really is a small change, but I mean, it changes everything.
Totally.
So to make sense of this for you, the listener, we first need to define our two tools using some simple rules from Chapter 4 of our grammar guide.
Right, the source material.
Exactly. So the first tool, the camera, is the gerund. A gerund is basically just a verb with ing tacked onto the end.
Like walking or eating.
Yeah, exactly. And even though it looks like an action, it acts like a noun. It's a thing.
Right.
And since you speak Turkish, a really great shortcut for you is to think of this like the mami or the ish endings.
Oh, that makes it super clear.
Yeah, it helps a lot. So the core rule of a gerund is that it represents the general action itself. It's a photograph of an experience, and it usually looks backward at something that already happened.
Okay, so the gerund is our camera. It's taking a picture of a past action. So what's the other tool?
Well, the other tool is the infinitive. That's the basic verb with the word to in front of it.
Like to walk or to eat.
Right. In Turkish, this would be the mak or mek ending.
Okay.
And the core rule here is that it represents a goal, a purpose or a future plan. It looks forward. It's the compass.
So using a gerund is looking at a photo of something you already did. But using an infinitive is like looking at a pointing arrow showing what you need to do next. That's a really clear rule. So let's test it out on some verbs that deal directly with our memories and our daily actions. Words like stop, remember, and forget.
Okay, let's do it.
Because if I say, I stopped smoking versus I stopped to smoke, those are two completely different situations.
They're completely different. And the rule explains exactly why. Let's look at the verb stop. If you use the gerund, the photo, and you say, I stopped smoking, that means you ended the habit entirely.
The action is just in the past.
Right. You took a picture of your final cigarette and you are done. But if you use the infinitive, the pointing arrow, you say, I stopped to smoke.
Meaning you paused what you were doing.
Yes, you paused your current activity in order to reach a new goal.
Wait, so I stopped walking and I literally pointed my compass toward a cigarette. The action is in the future.
Exactly, you get it?
I see. Does that logic work the exact same way for memory?
It does, yeah. With the gerund, remember or forget means you have a memory of something in the past.
Like a photo.
Right. If you say, I remember visiting the Eiffel Tower, you are looking at a mental photo of that trip. The visit is finished.
Okay, or like, I will never forget seeing the snow. You're physically holding the picture in your mind.
Precisely. But if you use the infinitive, the compass, it changes the memory into a duty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so please remember to call your mother. That's a future goal. You need to follow the arrow.
Or he forgot to meet her at the cafe.
Right, he failed to follow the pointing arrow, so the action never even happened.
Wait, okay, I buy the compass analogy for future plans, totally. But what about the verb regret?
Oh, regret is an interesting one.
Right, because regret is a feeling entirely stuck in the past. It literally means feeling bad about a mistake. So how on earth can you point a forward compass at a regret?
That is the confusing part for a lot of students, but the rule still holds up. You're completely right about the gerund. I regret buying this expensive car means you're looking at the photo of a past mistake and just feeling bad.
Yeah, the classic regret.
But we actually use the infinitive to regret for the very near future.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it happens when you have to give someone bad news right now.
Oh, like when a company sends you one of those formal emails?
Exactly. An airline will say, we regret to inform you that your flight is canceled.
Ah, I see.
They're pointing the compass at the bad news they're about to give you in the very next second. They feel sorry about the action they are aiming at right now.
That makes perfect sense.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if the compass is always pointing at a future goal, what happens when reaching that goal is like a struggle? Let's talk about verbs where we apply effort.
Like which ones?
Like try, mean go on and chance. Here's where it gets really interesting for me because I always thought trying was just making an effort. How does adding ing change the meaning of trying?
Well, let's look closely at try. If you use the gerund, the ing, it means you're experimenting with the method.
Experimenting.
Yeah, so the action itself is easy to do, but you want to see if it gives you a good result. For example, if you can't sleep, try drinking some warm milk.
Oh, okay. Because drinking the milk is physically easy.
Right, you're just testing a photo of an idea to see if it fixes your sleep.
So, experimenting with a method. Then what is the infinitive version?
The infinitive means making a hard physical or mental effort.
Like a struggle.
Yeah. I tried to drink the milk, but it was too hot. You had a goal, drinking the milk, but it was physically difficult to reach that goal. You're fighting to follow the compass, but you're failing.
That is a massive difference. Testing an easy method versus fighting for a difficult goal. I can completely see how mixing those up would confuse people.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Does mean work the same way?
It does, yeah. Mean with a gerund equals a result or a fact. Like choosing this job means working late.
You're just looking at a photograph of reality.
Yeah.
The job equals late nights.
Exactly. But mean with an infinitive equals a personal plan or intention. I didn't mean to work late. Your pointing arrow was aimed at going home early, but your plan failed.
The camera and compass rule is holding up really well. So what about the verb go on?
Okay, so if you say, the professor went on talking, you use the gerund. That means continuing the exact same activity.
It's just a long, continuous video recording of the professor.
Right, just on and on. But if you use the infinitive, the professor went on to talk about the exam, it means he finished the first topic, stopped, and pointed his arrow at the next step.
He moved forward to a new goal. Simple enough. And the last one in this group of effort is chance.
Chance, with a gerund, means taking a risk. You're looking at a dangerous picture. I won't chance driving in this terrible snowstorm.
Makes sense.
But the infinitive means something happened purely by accident or luck. I chanced to drive past his house just as he walked outside.
Oh, so it was a lucky step forward.
Precisely.
Sometimes, though, an action isn't about what we plan to try or do, right? Sometimes things just need to be fixed by us, or to us. Let's look at verbs about passive needs and active duties.
Okay, verbs like need, want, require, and deserve.
Right. And for these, using the gerund seems to me like looking at a broken toy waiting for repair. And the infinitive is the person who actually has to fix it.
The broken toy is a perfect way to explain the mechanism here.
Really?
Yeah, the gerund creates a passive meaning. The object needs attention, but we don't know who will give the attention.
Like the grass needs cutting.
Exactly. Or the car wants cleaning. You're just taking a picture of the broken toy. You don't say who will do the hard work.
Just that the general process needs to happen. The grass is too long.
Right. But the infinitive is active. The subject of the sentence must do the action. I need to cut the grass. I want to clean the car.
Now, you are the person holding the compass, ready to do the physical work.
You've got it.
You know, this sounds incredibly useful for the workplace.
Yeah.
Because if I'm writing a business email, the difference between a gerund and an infinitive could change my entire tone.
Oh, absolutely.
What about the word require?
It changes your tone completely. Require, with a gerund, states a general necessity. This project requires finishing by Friday.
That's a very soft, polite way to state a fact.
It is. But with an infinitive, it becomes a direct command. We require you to finish by Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, you're pointing the arrow directly at your employee. If you use the infinitive by mistake, you might sound much more aggressive than you intended.
That is a great warning for you, the listener. Choose your tool carefully in those emails. And what about deserve?
So, this old house deserves painting, uses the gerund. It shows the house is worthy of the general process.
Okay.
But you worked hard, you deserve to paint your room any color you want, uses the infinitive. It shows a specific person is worthy of a specific reward.
Okay, so now that we know how to assign duties, we should probably talk about how we feel about doing them.
Good transition. Let's look at emotion verbs.
Yeah, like love, hate, prefer, dread, and can't bear. So what does this all mean for daily conversation? Because people say, I like swimming and I like to swim all the time.
They do, constantly.
I always assumed those were exactly the same thing. Are they really communicating two different ideas?
They actually are. I mean, the differences are subtle, but they tell us a lot about the speaker's mind. Let's group like, love, and prefer together.
Okay.
When you use the gerund like, I like swimming or I love dancing, it shows general enjoyment of the activity. It's a broad habit. You enjoy the picture of the activity in your mind.
But if I say, I like to swim.
The infinitive shows you think it's a good idea or you prefer it for a specific situation. You aren't just talking about general love.
Give me an example.
You might say, I like to swim early in the morning before work. You're pointing out a specific, healthy routine.
Oh, I see.
Or, I prefer to stay in a hotel for this one trip. It's a specific single choice, not a lifelong habit.
The gerund is the big general emotion. The infinitive is the specific forward-thinking choice.
Exactly.
So what about negative feelings? Hate and can't bear.
The logic is the same. I hate waiting in lines. Uses the gerund for a broad, general dislike of a common experience. You hate the photograph of lines. But if you use the infinitive, it means you feel sorry about a specific action you have to take right now.
Like, I hate to interrupt you, but your phone is ringing.
Yes. Or, I hate to lie, but I have to tell him I'm busy.
I'm pointing my arrow at an uncomfortable action I must perform immediately.
You got it.
What about can't bear?
Can't bear with a gerund is general. I can't bear listening to loud traffic. The broad experience is awful. The infinitive is specific. I can't bear to look at that specific photo. It makes me sad.
Okay. I have a question about the word dread. Dread means, like, deep, dark fear. Fear is just an internal feeling. Does the rule change for extreme emotions?
The rule holds strong. Dread with a gerund is extreme anxiety about a future process. I dread flying.
You're picturing the scary process of sitting in an airplane.
Right. But the infinitive is almost entirely used with just two specific verbs, to think or to imagine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to show fear of a thought. You say, I dread to think what would happen if we lost our jobs. You're pointing your fear at a specific thought in your head.
Wow, okay. Let's move from the feelings inside our heads back out to the real world. I want to look at the exact mechanics of how actions begin or how they fail.
Verbs like start, begin, and neglect.
Right. So if I use the infinitive, is that like physically pressing the start button on a machine?
Mm-hmm.
And the gerund is just watching the machine continuously run.
That is a very accurate way to view it. Let's look at start and begin. They basically mean the same thing.
Okay.
If you use the gerund, you say, it started raining at noon and it's still going.
Right.
You put your focus on the continuous nature of the activity itself. You're watching the machine run.
The rain is just an ongoing video recording.
Right. But if you use the infinitive, you say, suddenly it started to rain. You put the focus on the exact point of origin.
So you're pointing your compass at the exact second the start button was pressed.
Exactly. The very moment it begins.
What about the opposite of starting? Like failing to act, the verb neglect.
The neglect with a gerund means failing to take care of a continuous, ongoing responsibility. He neglected doing his daily chores for months.
It's a long, bad habit. You're looking at a long video of his laziness.
Unfortunately, yeah. But the infinitive is forgetting to do one specific, single task. He neglected to lock the door yesterday.
Just one specific point in time where the compass dropped.
Exactly.
We've talked a lot about managing our own habits and mistakes, but a big part of language is managing other people, right? Verbs like allow, permit, recommend, advise, propose, and consider.
Oh, yes, the social verbs.
Because a lot of these sound like strict words a teacher or a boss would use. Is the difference just about who you are talking to?
Actually, yes. The rule is the key to giving orders correctly. For allow, permit, recommend, and advise, the gerund states a general rule or general advice for everyone in the world.
With no specific person mentioned.
Right. The museum doesn't allow taking photos. I advise waiting until prices drop. You're just holding up a photograph of the rules. It's like reading a sign on a wall.
But the infinitive targets a specific person.
Precisely. You direct the rule or the advice at an individual. You add the person into the sentence. They didn't allow us to take photos. I advise you to wait.
You're pointing your compass directly at someone's chest.
That's a great visual.
Again, the social stakes are super high here for a learner. If I tell my boss, I advise waiting, I'm just offering a general idea. If I say, I advise you to wait, I'm giving my boss a direct order. That could definitely get me in trouble.
It definitely could. The infinitive points the arrow right at a person. Let's look at propose. With a gerund, it's suggesting an idea for others. I propose moving the weekly meeting to Tuesday.
Just putting the picture on the table for everyone.
Exactly. But the infinitive is stating a formal intention to do something yourself. I propose to finish this project by myself. It's your personal pointing arrow.
Wait, does consider work that way too? Because, like, I'm considering moving to Spain. Made sense.
Yep.
I'm looking at the picture of Spain. But how do you use consider with an infinitive? I consider to move.
No, you don't use it for your own actions. You use it to judge someone else. Yeah, I consider him to be a great friend. Or, the judge considered the man to be guilty. You're pointing at someone and giving them a formal title.
I see. From giving orders and making judgments, we come to our final section. This is how we state facts and make agreements with the world around us. Verbs like report, indicate, and agree.
Okay, let's break them down.
Let me challenge you on agree, though, because agreeing is just a simple yes. How can adding ing change a yes?
It changes the type of yes. It's a difference between an opinion and a promise.
Okay, explain that.
If you use agree with a gerund, it means sharing a general opinion or feeling with someone. My wife and I agree about living in the suburbs.
You both look at the picture of the suburbs and you both smile. It's just a shared feeling.
But what if you actually want to sign a lease and make a plan?
Then you need the pointing arrow. You use the infinitive.
Right. My wife and I agree to live in the suburbs next year. Now, it's not just a feeling. You're actually consenting or promising to do a specific task together.
Wow, so breaking an agreement about something is fine. But breaking an agreement to do something is breaking a promise.
Exactly. The legal and social stakes are huge.
What about report and indicate?
So, report with a gerund describes an action that was seen or done. The witness reported seeing a bright light in the sky. They're describing the video they saw in their memory.
But the infinitive?
The infinitive means reporting for a physical duty or being said to be something, often passive. You must report to be tested by the doctor at 9:00 a.m. It's an active duty you must step toward.
Got it. And indicate?
Indicate with the gerund shows a general trend or data. The weather data indicates rising temperatures. You're looking at a picture of the data.
But the infinitive states a specific intention or plan.
Right. The manager indicated to be ready for a meeting by noon. He pointed his compass at 12:00 p.m.
This has been an incredibly clear journey through the mechanics of English. Let's summarize for you, the listener. What we've learned today, using simple language, is that English verbs basically give us two amazing tools.
The camera and the compass.
Exactly. The gerund, which is the ing word, is our camera. It usually looks backward at past memories. It looks at long, continuous processes. It focuses on general facts and passive needs.
And the infinitive, which uses to plus the base verb, is our compass. It looks forward. It points toward goals, specific intentions, personal promises, and active duties.
Mastering these dual-role verbs is honestly a massive shortcut for you. It allows you to express exactly what you mean in English, whether you're describing a memory, offering a polite suggestion, or giving a direct command, without having to search your brain for difficult words.
You just change the shape of the simple verb and the whole meaning of the sentence changes.
Yeah.
This leaves us with a really fascinating question to ponder.
What's that?
If a language uses time and direction so heavily in its most basic, everyday verbs, what does that mean for the way we actually think?
Oh, wow.
Right. If we didn't have these two different verb forms to separate the past process from the future goal, would our brains actually view time differently?
That is a wild thought. Do the grammar tools in our hands actually shape the world we see? Well, the next time you speak or write an email, ask yourself, are you taking a picture of an action that's already done, or are you pointing an arrow at what comes next? Keep your camera ready and follow your compass. See you next time.